Good afternoon, everybody. Just to kick off the theme, it's a little bit of a continuation that we started just on this on the panel discussion just a minute ago. The good news is we're going to we're going to solve two things this afternoon. Firstly, we're going to try and put as many marketing buzzwords we can in a presentation. Secondly, we're going to talk about stop losing customers. And I know that was a really important bit for the panel discussion sort of stuff that we just had here. So what we're going to talk about today is the really findings of a survey we did where we interviewed thousands of customers and thousands of marketers like yourselves and the challenges they had around the omnichannel world. So let's kick it off. So first of all, let's talk about the agenda today. So we're going to talk about why personalization fails. And as the panel said, there's quite a few areas around technology and frustrations they're trying to solve. We're going to talk about insights for an effective engagement. And I think that's really important about leveraging that data and how we drive that forward from that sort of side. And then we'll talk about the market report key findings that I've discussed, again, from a customer and also a marketer's side, and the role of the insights-led engagement. Again, first marketing buzzword word of the afternoon, and then we're going to talk about the tools that we can leverage using the customer insights. So quite a packed 15 minutes we're going to cut through here. So let's kind of kick off. First of all, I'm Jason Smith. I'm the VP of Sales for MoEngage for Europe. And let's talk about Gartner first. Gartner did a report a little while ago where they said about 80% of marketers will abandon personalization efforts due to lower ROI. And that's worrying in itself. Why are people moving away from personalization when everybody in the panel discussion here was saying that they want to do it and they want to move into it? So, what we'll do is we'll look at the key areas of why that's not going well and why they've got to transform and change. So, there's a couple of reasons why personalization fails. So, first of all, lack of data for the meaningful personalization. That's a key area with all our businesses. We're all trying to go customer-centric, trying to drive a one-to-one engagement, but the biggest fundamental issue is that we're struggling for lack of meaningful lack of data. Then we move in the confusion around the customer journey, especially in some of the bigger enterprise customers. You've got a really complex stack with somebody opening one part of the app, somebody else opening the other part of the app, and they treat them as different customers. Then we've got the siloed data, throughout the company. Again, reiterates a little bit around the customer journey breakup, and then we've got the siloed sort of kind of data journey throughout the company. Then we talk about the failure to optimize on a regular basis. We build a segment and it stays with us for the whole year. At the end of the year, the data team look at it and they come up with another segment and we implement that the following year. There's that constant checks and balances. You've got to keep iterating and keep changing it and keep evaluating it as well. And then or overwhelming personalization. We've all been there where we've hit an app and we've had a welcome push, we've had a product push, and we've had all these different offers and sort of stuff, and it becomes frustration. They're driving too much personalization at us. So the key sort of kind of findings of the customer from the survey we did, I reiterate, over thousands of customers. And this is from a customer level. So what's quite interesting here is 38% prefer to communicate on an email and 80% prefer the web. Now, we all said email is going to be dead years ago, but it's still here, it's still present, and still about. It's an offline channel that works really well in conjunction with a web or an app sort of side there as well. 22% of consumers use mobile application during COVID. I call it forced acquisition. There was lots of people, including my parents, that used to shop in one way and now shopping another way, and they've actually kept on doing that even after the shops have opened. 26% of consumers said personalization be based on purchase history and interests, and 21% of interest. So 26%, I guess that's the Amazon type-esque thing. You bought this, so I'll recommend these sort of products to you. And 55% are frustrated with brands sending inconsistent and irrelevant messages. We all don't mind personalization as long as it's the right personalization. So there's a big variety there. They get very frustrated if you don't give them the right personalization from that side. And 40% of consumers expect a hybrid interactions across different channels, across different contexts and sort of stuff there as well. So data is key to any meaningful interaction. Discussed by the panel, a goal for everybody probably in this room. The key thing is, how do we do it? So the good news is insights, we're an insights-led business, that we help join the customers and sort of stuff journeys together, driving deep insights to make meaningful actions off the back of that. I mean, it's a busy space. I get confused with all the players in the marketing field to understand exactly what everybody does. But hopefully today we can explain what the pain points are and how we solve them. So let's go back to that lovely big customer profile, that lovely sort of view of Sarah Jones in this particular case. So we can see, Sarah, we can see all the data that we collect on Sarah, the typical user properties, the age, the gender, the status, the customer, when they've been a customer since. Then we've got the, normal sort of kind of user interactions. We can understand when they came to the site for the first time, what the first product they bought, where do they move to next. Then we've got the campaign interactions. What's the affinity for Sarah? What type of campaigns does she interact with? What campaigns does she like to see? What products does she like to see? Is there a particular time of the day that she interacts best? Now, that could be best time to send for open, or that could be for a transaction perspective. And then we've got the enriched data side. We've got the predictions around Sarah. What's she'd like to do in the future? The lifetime value predictions. Also the average order value. How many transactions? All the sort of normal sort of things and sort of stuff there as well. But then when we start getting to the interesting bits, like the RFM segments, understanding what's her best affinity and what category she's more likely to sort of sit into. Usual things: city, country, postcode. There's nothing too particularly exciting there, irrelevant if there's some geolocation sort of stuff going on there. But, there's more around data that we need to drive, and you can see the enhanced data sets to really drive that better experience around time to send, or, their RFM modeling, so to understand the propensity to a certain product or a certain category. This is where we start to move into the, again, more marketing buzzwords, the insights-led engagement, the customer-centric experience. It's a buzzword that everybody talks about. Everybody wants to be customer-centric, but how do we do it? So this is something we put together to help our customers really understand, to visualize the important elements that drive into achieving that goal. As you can see, the first bit is unifying the customer data. Some businesses not so easy. Some very easy, especially if they're mobile first or startups. They can really adopt a correct data structure from day one. But it's all about unifying that customer data. We sit on top of CDPs or CRM systems and extract what I call the static data into it, and then we enhance it with all the real-time data on top of the platform. The next element is understanding the intent and get insights. So understand the intent of them likely to do something. These actions may necessarily have happened yet, but we're just predicting what's likely to happen. Their affinity to different categories and different sort of different products and an expectation to do certain things. Open an email, open an app, interact with a push notification at a certain time. And then the last thing is, craft the one-to-one personalization campaigns. All customers are different. It's when we look at the banking world, we're not all, we don't all open the post. We act in different ways. We have affinity for different products. We all like that one-to-one journey. So it's understanding and having a series of one-to-one campaigns based on who they are. The last thing is, you're then driven towards this insight-led engagement. We've solved it. We can all go home today. So it's unifying the data, understand the intent, and understanding the sort of, and getting insights from all that data sort of set, and then crafting those personalized engagement strategies across the mobile, the web, the offline channels. And then we're then driving towards this insight-led, engagement. So let's also look at it from the flip side. Let's look at it from the marketer's side, the actual customers sort of side there, people like yourself, the marketers driving these campaigns. So 37% recognize the importance of insights and business metrics. No surprise, we all understand the metrics around it and how we, and how we prove to our boss we're doing the right job. 36%, getting real-time analytics is the biggest customer engagement challenge. That's a real key thing. If you want meaningful insights and want to drive personalization when the customer's present or the prospect's present on the particular site, that real-time capability to drive that data is really, really important. 24%, only track demographic information about the customers. I've been doing it for years. We need to take it to the next level. So we really need to sort of kind of drive that more intent data around the people itself. And then 53% track insights like communication channel, content affinity, behavioral data, like recency, frequency, and monetary value. But, it's again, is it used on a day-to-day basis? They might track it, they might produce lovely graphs every particular month, but do they actually use it? So this is where we sort of kind of come in the insights-led engagement platform. We work with many brands, and the idea is to create meaningful, amazing omni-channel experiences. So one of the key things when we talk about RFM, the static data set, that you might get from your CRM system that says, customer X bought this. What it doesn't tell you is the propensity or the likelihood of all the other customers working with them. We probably have all got analytics teams in our businesses, but do they actually work with the marketing team on a day-to-day basis when you're building campaigns out? Do they really coordinate on the strategy? Or do you have a system like this particular platform where it really is looking at the customers and where they're dropping off and then driving campaigns towards this is a user path flow. A lot of our customers really like this to understand where the bottlenecks are. Is it a checkout? Is it a product selection? Is it when they're, when they were trying to register as a registered account in the first place? So it's about understanding those hidden issues rather than just driving a campaign and understanding where it's failing or where it's not failing. And then also predicting the behavior of a proactive engagement. So it's understanding that customer, looking at all the other customers that are on your app or on your website, and looking at what, particularly this customer that may have only just joined based on their actions, what's their likely the next best action. Without being creepy, without being intrusive, but it means we can surface them with a better quality of product, a better quality of message, and communicating with the right channel from that side. This is, again, personalization across cross-channel journey. When we look at, Jane, in this example, she visits the website or the app. She receives a push notification. That typical journey, rather than the siloed channel journey, you haven't got an email vendor pushing one particular message out, an app vendor pushing another message out, and an on-site capability doing that. It's still the same customer, Jane. So it's syncing all that journey up together to engage with them at the right time. So this is where we leverage AI. Sherpa is our AI engine, as you can see here. So what we're constantly analyzing is every single customer in real time and understanding their paths, understanding what the best performing channel is from a customer level, not from a campaign level. Message frequency. For example, what does Jane like to see? Is it 3 messages are too much? 1 message is perfect for her. Somebody else might be, happy to receive more messages. So this is doing it on a one-to-one level, I think, which is really important. There's plenty of tech out there that do everything on a campaign level, which is great, but they don't see from a customer level how that customer interacts across all the different channels and all the different campaigns, because that's what's important to that customer themselves. And, message sequence, which is the best one to send, understanding from an AI perspective, which is the best sequence to send. It's not just, we've moved away from the batch and blast, 8 o'clock every morning, they get it whether they like it or not. We're trying to drive what the best sequence is and what the best number to send. And, as I said, time to send, as I touched on earlier, that's a real good thing. People look at it, the best time to send. What does that tell us? If there's a super engaged audience, they're going to open it anyway. But this is really to try and drive your goal. That could be conversion increase, not necessarily open. So it could be open or conversion increase. So it's looking at a little bit more from an insights-led perspective and how you use the tool. This is, again, another marketing buzzword, the omni-channel strategy. We all talk about it, but it's all that WhatsApp, SMS. Who in a business looks at it from a holistic customer view? Who puts the customer at core, or looks at that segment across, the CRM team pull a segment of customers out, but they use it across all the different channels and they deal it in different ways. It's, if they don't open the emails, then why send them an email? It makes no sense. But if they engage on the app, let's communicate that message on the app to them. So in Jane's perspective, let's understand what's important to Jane. And this is us, MoEngage. As I said, what we've devised is what we feel is the winning formula. We're a business that's that have got offices in 11 countries, about 700 staff. And, these are the key things that we try and drive as our mantra as a business. It's an AI-driven insights business. It's to help you leverage those standard segmentations and drive AI on to give you that far more insight. We're a true cross-channel experience. We have on-site capability, mobile capability, and the offline channels as well, including email, SMS, social, and WhatsApp. We're a platform that can be used by marketers. So really important people, for most of the people in the room you're not reliant on any tech team. You're not relying on anybody else, the AI team, to drive it. You can do everything in your control, and that's why people really like our platform, because they're in charge of their own destiny to run those, leverage those segments, and run those campaigns out. And also for any industry, any size, we're secure, we're reliable, everything from, your SMB business the app's just launching, right the way through to your big enterprise customers and sort of stuff there as well, global enterprise customers. And the one-to-one personalization, it's all about driving the engagement on a one-to-one level, not on a segment level, not on an acquisition level. I was a customer, I've been acquired, and now I'm a customer that's now left, and we're trying to win you back. It's treating that customer, so right the way through the acquisition, the retention and loyalty sort of kind of phases. Still the same customer, engage them before they leave. And that is me, 18 seconds to spare. Thank you very much, everyone.